Ever wanted the power of an AI coding agent without actually having to code? Anthropic just dropped Claude Cowork, and it's a game changer for your desktop. It's basically an autonomous employee for your Mac. Point it at a messy folder, and it'll organize files, build spreadsheets, and synthesize research while you grab coffee. But with a $20 price tag and some serious research preview rough edges, is it actually ready for your workflow? Let's dive into the review.
Welcome to The Explainer. You know all that digital busy work that just piles up? Stuff like organizing messy folders or building reports from scratch. Well, today we're looking at a new tool that says it can be a true AI coworker and take all that tedious stuff off your plate. Let's find out if it actually lives up to that promise.
I mean, just think about it for a second. What if you had an AI that didn't just, answer your questions, but actually did the work for you? It could organize your files, create your reports, and pull together research all on its own, freeing you up to do the stuff that really matters.
And that's exactly the big promise behind Anthropic's new tool, Claude Cowork. It's a really exciting idea, right? But we're here to dig in and see if the reality actually matches the hype. Is this the real future of productivity? Or is it just another buggy experiment?
So, first things first, what exactly is this thing? Let's break down what Claude Cowork is supposed to be. Okay, so what is Claude Cowork? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like this. They took a super powerful tool that was built for developers called Claude Code, and they basically made it user-friendly for everybody else. You don't have to write a single line of code. You just point it at a folder on your computer, tell it what you want done, and it just gets to work all by itself.
Now, this slide is really key to understanding the difference here. We're all used to chatbots, right? You have a conversation with it. You guide it step by step. Cowork is all about delegation. You're not telling it how to do something, you're just telling it what you want at the end. You just say, hey, turn these 12 receipt photos into a spreadsheet, give it the folder, and it's supposed to figure out the rest. It's a whole different way of working.
And getting started actually seems pretty simple. It's just a new tab in the desktop app. But, and this is important, pay very close attention to step 3. Seriously, do not, I repeat, do not point this thing at your entire My Documents folder right out of the gate. Make a special test folder, put some copies of your files in there, and see how it behaves first. It's a powerful tool, so you want to be a little cautious.
Okay, so that's the promise and how it's supposed to work, but the real question is, how does it actually perform when you put it to the test? Let's look at the results.
All right, this is where the rubber really meets the road. Check out these grades. For anything involving local files that are right there on your computer, it's amazing. Sorting a messy folder? A. Creating an expense report from a bunch of images? B+. That's pretty impressive stuff. But the second it was asked to work with a web app like Google Docs, it got a D. A flat-out fail.
And that right there is the main takeaway. Claude Cowork is an absolute genius when it's working inside its own little world on your computer. But the moment you ask it to interact with the internet or other apps, it just gets totally confused. It's kind of like a brilliant chef who only knows how to use the ingredients already in their own kitchen.
Now, it's time for a little reality check. Because beyond just how well it works, we need to talk about the real costs and, maybe more importantly, the risks of letting an AI loose on your personal files.
First up, the price tag. You can't just get Cowork by itself. It's bundled in with a Claude Pro subscription, which starts at $20 a month. So that's kind of your price of admission just to even try this thing out.
But here's the hidden cost, and honestly, this is a big one. These cowork tasks are incredibly hungry for resources. A single complex job, like organizing a big folder, can burn through your monthly usage limit way faster than just chatting with the AI. You could blow through your whole quota in just a few tasks if you're not careful.
So what about security? Well, there's some good news. It uses something called sandboxing, which basically means it's stuck in a little virtual playpen and can only touch the specific folder you give it permission for. But researchers have already found some pretty concerning vulnerabilities. And here's the real kicker. It can delete your files permanently. There is no undo button.
And this quote from a really well-respected AI developer, Simon Willison, just hits the nail on the head. Anthropic's official advice is to monitor Claude for suspicious actions. I mean, what does that even mean to a regular person? It's like telling someone who's never driven before to just listen for weird engine noises. It's advice that only an expert can really act on.
All right, so we've looked at the promise, the actual performance, and the pitfalls. Let's wrap all this up and figure out who should be jumping on this right now and who should probably stay far away.
So, who is this for?
Well, if you're a Mac user and your desktop is a total disaster, or you're a content creator who has to summarize tons of sources, this thing could be a real game changer. But if you're dealing with sensitive information, or you just want software that's stable and polished, yeah, you're going to want to wait this one out.
You know, if you remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this question. Think of Claude Cowork as a brilliant, super eager, but brand new intern. It's incredibly smart and capable, but it has zero real-world experience. It needs very clear instructions, and you definitely wouldn't give it the keys to the company's most secret files on its first day.
So, with that in mind, here's our final verdict. If you're already paying for Claude Pro, sure, go for it. Make a test folder and see what it can do. But if you're thinking about subscribing just to get this feature, our advice is to wait. Give it a few months. Let it grow out of what is basically a public beta into something a little more reliable and finished.
And really, that leaves us with a much bigger question. Because tools like Claude Cowork, they're just the beginning. They represent a huge shift from talking at our computers to actually delegating to them. So while this specific tool is still pretty raw, it gives us a fascinating, and yeah, maybe a little bit scary, peek into what the future of work might look like. What's going to happen when that brilliant intern finally grows up?